Spicy. Just the way I like it. Look, let's not waste any time. Y'all saw the photo. If that wasn't enough time, then you can go back, pause the video, absorb as much of that as you need. But anyway, Samboy here. Just wanted to break this shit down because it's something that's going to continue to be an issue, um, going forward. And I just want, my own opinion to be out there for the record. Just cause I like hearing myself speak and like seeing my opinions represented in the culture, as it were. So let's get right to it. So first thing is the reason why even though anybody else can find this meme, this is starting to become a meme and it's starting to get a lot more attention. I saw this some weeks ago on Reddit or Twitter, and wasn't expecting it to come to start to bubble up. But I don't want this to be. I would much rather this be a teaching moment, and not so much an opportunity for people to just get on their high horse and talk about so and so is a piece of garbage or so and so needs to be canceled and called out and all that stuff. No. So let's just get started. Let's just get into it. First of all, just setting up the ground rules, or just giving you the context from which I'm understanding things. There is a difference between the word nigger or the AKA the N-word, and nigga. All right, the N-word is a slur and was something that's used against people such as myself in this country. Whether or not you are an African descendant of slave, just being perceived as having black features, being a black person in the United States and elsewhere, is enough for some people to start using the slur against you. And then there's nigga, the term of endearment, or just the cultural, the kind of the cultural recognition of shared experiences or common experiences amongst one another. And slur reclamation is not something that only black people do. It's something that occurs in any group. Occurs in different with women. It occurs with LGBT community. Indigenous groups, I'm sure, different religious groups, etc. It's just that these are the terms that are associated with black folks here in the United States. Black folks here in the United States. Secondly, what I want to say is that slurs are slurs. I don't want to get into, identity politics is important, but I am very wary of this. I'm very wary of what seems to amount to victim Olympics type shit, or just using as a point, really just using it in a very cynical way as a point system, as in, oh, this black person used a slur or particular slur, and because of their place in the hierarchy, this is how much they should be blamed, and oh, this other person, this Asian woman, uses a different slur, and because of her place in the hierarchy, it's has a different value. No, to me, we exist as individuals and as groups, and you don't get to skirt personal responsibility or criticism for your shitty behavior just because of your affiliation to a group. I do think that external factors, in identity politics do play a role, but this gets into my third point, which is context. You can't just make blanket statements like, oh, because I'm black this or because I'm a man that. It's like there are things that may be generally true, but those aren't things that are specifically true for that individual. And then also to what degree, what I'm saying, do they have this disadvantage or advantage? And speaking on the context, once again, it's that, the first, young woman, she was, she was just, she put something out there in the public, right, on their Instagram, and excuse me, their Twitter, and so you deserve to be criticized for that, and I don't think that you should be given a pass just because you're black and you're using a slur of a different group because of the experience of black folks had, even what's happened to you specifically. That doesn't excuse that. And then the Asian woman, obviously it's in her best interest and many other people's best interest to not be using the term in general, not be using the term. But in this situation, it's like using it at one part as a joke, and sometimes it is, sometimes we can't just enjoy the humor in the situation. But then also she's getting a taste of, or getting to recognize, like, look, don't you recognize that you're being just as nasty and derogatory as people who would dismiss traits that are associated with your in-group, with black folks, with black women especially. Um, and I have no prior knowledge of either of these two women's, who they are and what else they've said. Um, I know there's some busybodies out there. They're gonna have to go uncover that, but I'm not too interested. I take this for what it is worth, as a teaching moment for everybody, on how to go forward with communicating with one another. And so, getting to my fourth point is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Obviously, that wonderful little cliche, and that there's nothing wrong with recognizing different physical features about another person. That is not inherently objectifying them or diminishing them in any way. It's just recognizing a person for what they are. Recognize me, that I am that I'm black. I do identify as a man. I guess cisgendered male. I'm saying I'm as comfortable as you can be, I guess, in a man's body. I don't feel like I was born in the wrong body, right? But it's all about your reaction to it, because somebody who is spiteful and filled with hate can find any reason to hate you. It can be over liking a different sports team. It could be over, having a different, just having different facial features, even if you're the same color. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the fuck, or just choosing to wear a different brand of clothing. But but once again, it's when you use these terms, when you go about and you start diminishing people for these features, things that they can't control, and then connecting them to, because here's the thing, from the picture that y'all saw, she connected this physical feature of how some people's eyes are shaped, right, and said that, oh, without my eyelashes, my eyes seem to have this feature which is ugly. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what term she would have used, if she would have used the slur, or if she would have used, whatever the more PC accepted term is for that. But it's disrespectful. It's diminishing them, and it's reducing. It's not just reducing somebody to these traits, but it's taking those traits about them and couching them in what's the term? It's making it seem like it's acceptable to describe people who have just different features as ugly. And I'm not cool with that. I don't care about your identity. I don't look at this as a points system. It's the whole thing about talking about identity politics and intersectionality is about making others be considerate of where we're coming from, but also being considerate of others. It's not even just a two-way street. It's intersections. It's multiple fucking intersections going at the same time. And so I would just say that, I hope that the young black woman, I hope that in the future that she learns to be more considerate when, making statements such as this. Because if you are able to just and then for the Asian chick, it's, yeah, I see what she was, it's clear what she's doing. She's trying to give the black chick a taste of her own medicine. I would just hope that she understands, for her best interest and those around her, it's continuing to be very careful and making sure that the context in which you use certain terms can't be twisted and conflated. Because it's all too easy for a lot of people to look at this picture, like look at this scenario, right, and think that either of them are straight up bigots. Never mind what their histories may have been. Hell, maybe they might be friends with one another, and this just may be the way that they, talk shit. But how the hell are any of us supposed to know that? We can't. We just go off of this, and it's it's very easy to get upset about it. But overall, it's not about giving people passes or a points system. It's about being considerate and showing tolerance towards one another, and that yes, different groups have gone through different levels of shit, but we've all waited, we've all gone through some shit, and even the most privileged people in society, even using all of the advantages they have doesn't always guarantee success, or that they, um, and even those, and once again, those who have privilege and have access to those resources and stuff, they didn't ask for it, and some of them are, such as like Ronan Farrow, the journalist, do come from those privileged circumstances and, really fight the good fight. Um, so once again, I just hope this is a learning lesson for everybody to be a little bit more considerate of one another, showing how to be tolerant, and how we have to be careful about the things that we just post, or the things that we just put out there in the public eye, not just for fear of. And the thing is that it's for, be careful about what you put out there, because you never know what somebody else is going through. You never know how close to the edge somebody may be in their feelings about their self, or the situation. We just had a young dude who's I guess his girlfriend or fiance convinced him to commit suicide when he was supposed to graduate from university. And so yeah, just please be more considerate of the words that you use, how we communicate with one another, and that yes, it's natural to get frustrated and to recognize that you're being mistreated in society, but nothing will be solved by going out and just using derogatory terms to generalize other people, in the same way, especially those who have not specifically come at you. So, went a little bit longer than expected, but it is what it is. Talk to y'all later. Samboy out.